So we recently got to tour the Margaritaville Resort in the Dominican Republic, and it was a really nice resort, but there's a catch. There is some issues that they have that could impact whether or not you want to stay there, and we'll talk about those at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. So in our recent tour of the Margaritaville Resort in the Dominican, we got to see several things that will probably interest you, and a couple things that may be a concern. But first, let's talk about the rooms and the room categories, because those were pretty cool that we got to see.
They really were. They have a lot of unique features. The first thing that we got to see was the Island Reserve Villas. So this section of the resort is specific to adults. No children allowed in this area. However, it's not the same as an adults-only resort, so keep that in mind. What I mean by that is we have about 10 buildings of villas that are surrounding a swimming pool with a swim-up bar. That entire area is adults only. But the rest of the resort is still kid-friendly.
So are kids allowed on this side?
Kids are not allowed in the villas area, but when you get ready to eat or do anything outside of the pool and the swim-up bar, you're going to have some kids around.
So if you're looking for a resort where you don't see kids at all the entire time, this does not have a section where you can do that?
No, this is not the resort for you. However, the rooms in this section were very nice. These villas have a living room section, a wet bar, which is actually kind of more like a breakfast bar that you could actually sit at, make your drinks, enjoy the day. Then there's the bedroom side. Then the bathroom is an oversized bathroom, his and her sinks, nice big rain shower, and then there's also an outdoor shower. The other thing about this is every room in this category has a pool access from the balcony. So you either has a swim-up room, which is you walk right out of your balcony into the larger swimming pool area, and you can swim over to your neighbor or your swim-up bar or what have you. Or you're on the upper floor and you have a private pool. So that terrace is a little bit smaller, but it's filled with a pool that you don't have to share with anybody else. So you have to decide which one of those that you like.
Right, and the villa room that we saw, it had that big TV in the middle as you see here, and it really did a good job of utilizing the entire space of the room by putting back-to-back TVs so you could be in the bed. And on the other side, the only thing I see might be annoying is one person wanted to watch one channel, one the other, and you have the volume up and it kind of bleeds over each other.
Hopefully you could get along well enough to decide on your TV channel preferences if you're going to share the bed and the room for whatever length of time.
You would hope.
I would hope.
But that's the only issue I see there. Other than that, though, I really liked the room. It had, your own flip-flops from Margaritaville. It had, the outdoor shower that we mentioned, and a lot of other it's real roomy, I guess is the best way to put it. It just seemed more inviting, more relaxing there as far as what you get. So we also got a chance to tour what they consider a regular room. Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
or a standard room?
Their entry-level room is called a Paradise Room. The Paradise Room holds 2 adults. It's basically a smaller version of the room we just described, but it's in the family section. So this is going to have a small seating area, not a full living room. It's going to have a small mini bar. Feel more like a hotel room, I guess. But it has a lot of the same cool features, the neat decor, the flip-flops, all those same offerings still come with it. It's just a little bit smaller room with a little bit more of a hotel feel. And it doesn't have that awesome walk-out swim-up room. So you can't just walk out and get in the swimming pool.
It was still a really nice and cozy style room. The minibar definitely was a lot smaller, as you can see, compared to the other one. And it had a much smaller footprint than what the other one had. But overall, even though you don't get that large feeling or that extra roominess that you had in the other place, this one was still a nice room.
It was. I think, if you're budget conscious and you need to have a little bit smaller space, you're still not being cheated by any means. This is still a lot more elevated and a lot more luxurious than most hotel rooms. So you're still getting a lot of bang for your buck.
A little something else about the rooms is, we mentioned the mini bars. Now, the mini bars are kind of special. Being the Margaritaville, of course, they all have the ability to make a margarita.
Yes.
But that's not it.
No, that's not all. So the ability to make a margarita is unique in itself because most mini bars at regular all-inclusive hotels come with your standard bottled drinks and tiny liquors. Occasionally you get the full bottle of liquor. Here, you get not only the ability to make a margarita, but you get what they call Joe Merchant credits. So Joe Merchant is their kind of coffee shop / general store. And inside of that, you can get your regular coffee and such through your all-inclusive plan. But you can also go there and you can choose what you'd like to have stocked in your minibar. So it's kind of like grocery shopping, but with points. So they give you points based on the room category and how many nights you've been there. And when you go to the merchant store, you can use those points to stock your minibar with anything you'd like.
So it automatically comes with tequila and stuff for the margarita.
Right.
But if I wanted some scotch or some different types of whiskey
Or,
or some bourbon or
Sure.
wine, whatever.
Whatever's in the
Okay.
Joe Merchant store. So it might
Yeah.
be snack foods, could be breakfast items, could be juices, could be alcohol. Any or all combination of the above, you just use your points, stock your little grocery basket, and
Yeah.
bring it back to your room.
That's
So
pretty neat. That's
yeah,
that's
it's a
different
unique,
than other resorts.
different concept.
Yeah. So there is another section of resort, the family-friendly side, and we need to talk about that, but in a moment, because that's the side that I really want to make sure that you understand before you book your stay there. So let's move on to restaurants and food. So during our tour, we got to visit some of the restaurants, and there's how many restaurants there?
6 restaurants,
6 restaurants, and I'm sure a lot of the adults are going to know how many bars?
3 bars.
3 bars. So 6 restaurants and 3 bars. And they did bring us out samples of the food in some of the areas. And I know I really liked some of the food that I had. What did you think about it?
Oh my gosh, it was fantastic. It was supposed to be bite-sized. I have a very tiny mouth. It was not exactly bite-sized. I think I wore more of my food than I actually got to eat.
And I apologize now. I did not get any footage of the food because when we walked in the door to the restaurants, they're shoving food in our face. I didn't have my camera up ready to go, so I've got food in one hand, camera in the other. I can't hit recorder. I'm going to dump it everywhere. Now, so I'm trying to eat it, and she's laughing at me. So it was a whole ordeal.
In your defense, we weren't sitting down. We didn't get
Right.
seated at the restaurant. We walked into the restaurant to take a quick peek, and they had prepared a dish just for us to try. And so, like I said, it was supposed to be bite-sized. They handed it to us with a napkin and said, "Here you go."
Try this.
And it was definitely not bite-sized, and it was very messy, but it was also very, very good.
It was.
They gave us tastings of a little barbecue dish.
Yeah, that was really good. It's like a sweet honey
Yeah.
barbecue. Yeah, it was
there
really
was there was one of them that really caught me off guard, and I'm sad I don't remember which restaurant it was from, but it was a watermelon-based dish.
Yeah.
It was watermelon, but it had a cheese on top of it, and I would not have thought to pair the two things together, but it was very, very good.
It would have went great with the land shark. So if the rest of the food is as high quality as what we tried in just our little samples, it's got some great food at this resort. And I would say that and the other resorts that we've been to, the food quality there seems to be like it's going to be up there with all the rest of the top resorts.
I would say yes. They advertise it as gourmet inclusive. So this is part of the Charisma brand. Charisma is known for being gourmet inclusive. So that sometimes scares people off because they think, oh, I don't know if I like gourmet
Right.
food. But it's not gourmet in that they're feeding you something super bizarre and it's not going to appeal to the masses. It's not gourmet like that. It's
Right.
gourmet in that it's very fresh, it's elevated, it's good food.
So as we were touring the resort, not only did we get to sample some fantastic food, but you're still talking about this margarita that we got to try there.
I don't like margaritas. This is what floors me. Okay, this is when you know you found a good bartender. Because I don't like margaritas. I don't like tequila. It is just not my thing. And we walked up to the swim-up bar and they handed me this margarita. And of course, you take it willingly and are all like, "Yeah,
I don't mind.
I
It's
got
alcohol,
this."
right?
You know.
Yeah.
I take it all. Oh, I'm not so sure. 2 drinks in, I didn't want to put it down. It was the best margarita I've ever had. I
was
want to know
really
the
good.
secret because I don't like tequila and this margarita was that good.
You know, the thing is, it did not taste like your classic margarita mix. It was
Something was different about it.
elevated. I
Yeah.
mean, it tasted like a margarita, don't get me wrong, but it tasted like a margarita, and then the angels sang. I don't know.
I don't know. It was good. You
really
had to
good.
stand there and wait for me to finish my margarita because I would not go on.
I know. We were like, come on, we got to be places. And she's like,
But
hold
it was
up,
good.
man." So as we're talking about trying drinks and alcohol, one really nice, unique thing that Margaritaville offers is they have a craft brewery on site.
Yeah, and this is a very unique offering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any other resort that has craft brewing on site.
Yeah,
Especially in the Dominican.
or a national brand like Land
Like Land
Shark.
Shark.
We got a chance to talk to the head brewer too, and he kind of showed us around and talked to us about the process and everything.
The other thing that was unique, I think, is they said that they produce their regular Land Shark beer, but then they have 3 others that they rotate, right?
And they have those on tap, ready to try. So you can go in, you can get a flight and try the beer. You can get the traditional Land Shark, which it's a lager and it's great for hot summer days.
Sure.
But they also have some different ales and stuff on tap, and then they have some specialty beers that they rotate. This is a place to go, and of course they're going to have their traditional beer that's local, like Presidente and whatever other Dominican style beers that they have in the area, but the Presidente is the most common. Also, they've got a nice beach, but this area is having a seaweed problem right now.
Yeah, and it's not specific to their resort. It's the whole Caribbean, really. Mexico's having the same problem. Seaweed influx this year is just terrible. So they're doing their best. They're scooping it up, shoveling it off, burying it, whatever they can do to it.
There's always the swimming pools, and they have some really nice pools there.
They do. There's that adults only section that has the huge swimming pool in the middle. There's all the swim up suites. There's a giant family friendly swimming pool right in the middle of the property. Also has a swim up bar. There's a couple of big hot tubs. So lots and lots of water fun options, even if there's some seaweed problem.
Right, and they have swim up bars, which we've seen. They had the big sign, 5 o'clock somewhere. And I noticed that they also have this floating taco.
Yeah. So
What
not
is-
only can you do swim up bar,
Right.
you can also swim up to your tacos. So
Yeah.
they have this big, as you can see, there's this big floating inner tube style thing of tacos and all the fixings that go with it. And for a small fee, you can share that with all of your new close friends from the swimming pool and never have to get out of the pool to have your tacos.
I know. Why didn't we think of that sooner?
I don't know.
Okay, so we need to talk about, I guess, the burning question everybody has from the beginning of this. What is the problem with
What
Margaritaville?
is the problem? Okay, so I left this resort in love with it. I still think it is an absolutely fantastic resort. My biggest problem is a family of teenagers, which is what we have, 2 adults, 2 teenagers,
Right.
cannot share a room anywhere on this property.
So what you're saying is that if you are a family, mom, dad, whoever, and you have 2 teenagers, you're going to have more than one room because you can't share a
Yes.
room, even though it holds 4 people, right?
Even though it holds 4 people. You can do 3 adults, you can do 2 adults, 2 kids, you can do a kid and a teenager and 2 adults, but you cannot have 2 adults and 2 teenagers share a room.
We were confused by
Right.
this,
Right.
and we even called and talked to several different representatives with Margaritaville, and they confirmed it. Yes, you cannot have 2 adults and 2 teenagers in the same room. You have to either get a separate room and separate the adults and the teenagers or something, or you can have 2 adults, 1 teenager, and 1 kid, but you can't have 2
Yeah.
teenagers. So unfortunately, if you are, like we said, a family that has 2 teenagers, unless you want to pay the extra and get 2 rooms, or you roll the dice and figure out which one to leave at home, then this is probably not the resort for you if you're trying to save money.
It's also worth mentioning the resort has a kids club for kids up to age 12, but there is not anything specific to teenagers at this resort either.
Okay.
So it may just be a resort that's geared better for kids under 13.
Okay. And we did not get to tour the kids club and see what kind of activities and stuff they have there to offer. We were just told about it during our tour. But I would say that from my experience, what I was able to see, that as an adult, this is more appealing to me as an adult than I think it would be for kids. Is there anything else that you think is worth mentioning about Margaritaville other than it? Overall, it's a really great resort that we would highly recommend. It's just got the one flaw that hopefully in the future this is something they change.
I really hope so, because overall I do think it's a really great resort. It's very new. It just opened in November of last year.
And they're adding on with the Azul
and they're
property.
adding more rooms with the Azul merger. So it's also very clean. It's a beautiful resort. The decorations are gorgeous. And the food, like you said, is just fantastic. Plus it's in the Cap Cana resort area, which is just overall a very nice, quiet resort area. So I'm very excited to offer this to the right client.
Right. Yeah, and if it's for you, why don't you go check it out, stay there, and let us know what your experience was like. So we want to thank you guys so much for watching, and please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you get notifications of our upcoming video. We really would like to get our content out to even more people, and so by hitting that subscribe button, you're helping us do that. Bye!